What up, you guys? I'm in Milwaukee right now. There is a raid going on at the Democratic Office here in Milwaukee, and I just want to stop by and see what's going on and see what everyone has to say. So let's walk over here and let's see what's going on at the Democratic Office. They want economic justice. So let's get over here and see what's going on.
That's simple. That's right. Power concedes nothing without a demand.
Yeah, we're demanding.
That's why we get together and we need to use our voice, because some of us do have power. Some of us are elected people. They have some form of leverage, but the average person, we all do have something. We have a voice, and so we need to use that. So that's why we're all here. And so with that, I guess, let's get to another chant. Let's think about, I don't know.
I got you. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop.
All right.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop.
All right.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. There we go, there we go.
Thank you, Andre. And yeah, to that point, I was saying all of our issues sort of intertwine with the others. And a big one is it all comes down to justice. That's all we want. Yeah. Justice, top to bottom, across the board. Yeah. So what about that simple one? No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Thank you. Awesome. So, as I said, we're all here for a range of issues, but to me, a lot of them would be either eliminated entirely or at least reduced if we got money out of politics.
Yeah.
It's
That's right.
Everybody needs to realize, yeah, you can celebrate Biden coming in. Trump was not the cause of these issues we're all here for. Trump is a symptom of the very problem that caused these issues we're here to fight.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's, the fact that they're two corporate-run parties now.
That's right.
It's unfortunate. It's happened for decades, longer than I've been alive, longer than quite a few of us have been alive. Again, to the push Biden left, already it's happening before our eyes. If you saw his appointment for defense secretary, Lloyd Austin, Raytheon. We can back up to the campaign when the Biden administration took over $3 million from the defense sector. And when they take this sort of money from a certain sector, do you think the defense sector is just doing that because they like the guy or being nice?
Influence.
To quote my dad, may have been born at night, but not last night. Come on.
There you go.
So you see, They get the money, they get the power, they get the positions in our government. So, you know, they're working repealing Citizens United, which is amazing. But that's only part of it. That's only a very small part of all of our issues we have. So, before I keep rambling on, we need to get started because we're already behind time. And now I don't have the right backup. Who's next?
That's fine. So Erica's gonna go.
Okay. Sorry. Next up, Erica from Leaders of Kenosha, an awesome organizer and activist in our area. She's done a lot of huge things for Justice for Jacob. Again, about people not being able to hang with a Wisconsin organizer that goes out and faces the cold and the elements. These people walked from Kenosha to Milwaukee. Let's hear it for Leaders of Kenosha. There's Black Lives Matter.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay, here's Erica.
Hi, thank you for that awesome introduction, and thank you, our Wisconsin Revolution Milwaukee, for having us. My name is Erica Ness. I'm the Director of Community Engagement for LOC, Leaders of Kenosha, based in Kenosha, Wisconsin, just a little bit south of here. Really honored to be here. I used to live and work and organize in Milwaukee for some time, and now I've returned back to my hometown. LOC is an organization that really came together from a bunch of activists who cared a lot about our community, and the catalyst for us launching our organization was when Jacob Blake was shot in the back by a police officer 7 times in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And we as an organization have been working closely with Jacob Blake's family to plan demonstrations, marches. As was mentioned, we marched all the way from Kenosha to Milwaukee to advocate for police reform and for people to get out and vote for elected officials that they thought would make those changes. So for us, our mission is about eliminating white supremacy, advocating for racial justice, and ensuring equity and opportunities and resources for all in Kenosha, in southeastern Wisconsin, and in the United States. So we're here today to talk about how we can continue to hold our elected officials accountable, especially in the light of a brand new administration at the federal level. So, you know, we just heard our new president mention white supremacy in his inauguration address. And wow, it's the first time a president has mentioned white supremacy in the inauguration address in the history of the United States, which was built on white supremacy. So we're here to say that white supremacy is not just about a bunch of insurrectionists that tried to overturn an election to try to stop black and brown people's votes from counting. And it's not just about policing reform and preventing the slew of shootings and murders of black and brown people around the United States by police. Those things are important to stop, but white supremacy is also about the black maternal mortality rate being so much higher than the white maternal mortality rate. It's about pollution and the effects of climate change disproportionately affecting communities of color. And of course, this affects working class communities, and there's so many people in the United States that are victimized by our priority of white supremacy and the elite and money in politics and running our country. But for us, the most important thing is that all of our systems are currently in place to keep white people and wealthy white people at that on top. So it's not just about insurrection, it's not about which party, it's about the fact that because of our long-standing history in the United States with slavery, segregation, and the way that our country runs on generational wealth, people of color do not have the same access to higher education as broadly as white people do. And when they do get, when people do go and get higher education, they're saddled with mountains of debt. So white supremacy runs through our healthcare system. It runs through issues of climate change and climate justice. It runs through our education system. And we need, if our president, if our administration, if whatever party it is that's speaking, thinks that they want to combat white supremacy, they want to work for racial justice, if they truly believe that Black Lives Matter and believe that every person in the United States matters, that they need to take on progressive reforms, including Medicare for all, canceling student debt, the Green New Deal, and providing COVID relief. Providing enough COVID relief that people who have lost their jobs, people that have lost their family members, people who are sick can continue to live their lives. We cannot keep putting money above people.
That's right. Yeah.
So we're here today to continue to hold who's ever in power accountable to us, the people who elected them. And we know, because we, as I said, marched over 30 miles to get people to vote. We were engaged in the streets talking to people in Kenosha about getting out there to vote. We know working class people, we know people of color, the Black community was so instrumental in getting these people elected, and they owe it to these communities to dismantle the systems of oppression that they have used to get to the top.
Yeah.
So thank you again for having us. And leaders of Kenosha, we will continue to be fighting for reforms, fighting for change, fighting to make sure that everybody has equal access to doing whatever it is that they want to do with their lives. And we need our government to be ensuring the same.
Woo! Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Erica. You guys have done so much great work, and especially you know as well as anyone that it takes direct action. It takes hitting the streets and being face to face with people to tell them what we need to do to make actual change happen. Our next speaker is one of our Wisconsin Revolution's finest. Woo! From the Milwaukee chapter, my great friend Noel.
Oh,
Take
no,
it away,
yeah.
Noel.
Thank you. So I wanted to speak today not as an organizer or even an activist. I'm one of the thousands of Wisconsin residents who's been stuck in limbo with unemployment. I've been waiting 10 months for an appeal. I have gone to numerous virtual town halls about reforming unemployment, and one of the things that I heard from a lot of Black and brown people and white people as well is that we're treated like we're criminals trying to scam the system that we've paid into. I mean, I've been working since I was 17. Like, I've paid into this, so I would like to be paid for the 10 weeks that I was without work and with zero income. People are losing their homes, their cars, worrying constantly. To anyone who has never experienced economic hardship, this is the worst. 2020 has been the worst year of my life. It's been the most active for me because I found my voice. I found people who are uplifting me, and I can help uplift as well. And the problem really is that the current governor is blaming Scott Walker, and the Republicans are saying that it's Tony Evers' problem, and the state assembly is just sitting on their hands. They're not doing anything for people like me. And so when I hear people say, "Oh, thank God Biden's in office and things are going to change," I think some of us might feel better that he's in office, but in some ways I kind of feel betrayed, because a lot of people, especially a lot of people in neighborhoods like this, they're just going to go back to brunch. They're going to stop worrying about us. They're going to stop worrying about me. They're going to stop worrying about the police shootings of Black and brown people, because they're fine. The upper class is fine. White people are fine. That's great. There's Black Lives Matter signs all over this neighborhood, but I ask those people, what are you doing as an ally? What are you doing? Who are you putting into office to protect Black and brown people, to protect the working class? over and over, I've been told to just wait my turn and that incremental change is the way to go and we have to make concessions. That's not good enough for me, and it shouldn't be good enough for anybody.
That's right.
The fact of the matter is that so many of us don't have time to wait. And we need change now. We need Medicare for all now. We need to raise the minimum wage now. We need to defund the police and the military now.
Right damn now.
Yeah, so I challenge anybody listening, people that are allies, to think about these things when you're voting and when you're putting your time and effort into candidates who really don't care about us. Think about the grocery store workers that we were calling heroes, less than a year ago, and everybody's forgotten about them. Those are the people who are disproportionately people of color. They are, working minimum wage. They don't have health care. Like, what are we doing for those heroes now? So please, let this not be a time to rest or feel like we can go on and everything's going to be okay. We have to stay activated. We have to stay involved. And please, everyone, use your voice, because we do have the power, but we have to use it, and they're not going to give it to us unless we demand it.
Woo! That's right.
All right. Thank you so much, Noel. Truth to power. You know what's up. Our next guest is another bold, excellent activist in Milwaukee. From the Milwaukee Socialist Alternative, I introduce Sophie.
Can people hear me okay? You gotta really choke up on these microphones. My name is Sophie Scholl. I'm an organizer with Socialist Alternative Milwaukee. First thing I'd like to say is hello everyone, and thank you for not returning to brunch today, already in the past few days, I've seen a lot of talk about a return to normal and the restoration of decency in American politics after the inauguration of Joe Biden. And, don't get me wrong, I'm glad Trump is out, but, I have no faith, like many of you, I think, I have no faith in Joe Biden to close the camps and reunite immigrant families, no faith in his administration to adequately respond to the massive healthcare crisis caused by COVID-19, and no faith in the Democratic Party to actually fight for working people now that they have won the control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And yes, it's true. Biden may be forced to deliver on a few things, fine. But the scale of this crisis is monumental. Big businesses have bankrolled Biden's whole career. Do we really think that they would allow him to do what it takes to get us out of this, even if he personally wanted to?
Nope.
That's right. The American people elected Joe Biden, but Joe Biden and the Democrats will not work for the working class's interests, because we are not the people these we are not the people these corporate politicians are accountable to. This is a huge part of the reason that the far right is growing. Democrats continuously offer working people nothing in return for their support. And when our leaders on the left sell us out, many people turn to the right for simple and simply false solutions. You all know the danger the far right poses. I'm not going to take time to explain it. But we saw it just on the Capitol on January 6th, in Kenosha a few months ago with Kyle Rittenhouse, or in any other instance you care to point to, how the capitalist state treats the far right as a friend. And we all know how often the police often collaborate with them. We can only defeat the far right when we build a working class movement independent of big businesses, for Medicare for all, for a Green New Deal, for continuous COVID relief, for housing, and for working people. To win this fight, we will have to use the only two things we have at our disposal, our sheer numbers and our power as workers to go on strike and shut the system down until our demands are met. This will require a ferocious battle with the American ruling class, and only when our leaders are completely independent of corporate money can they help us win. We need them accountable to us, not the rich. We are seeing the same problem right now with many of our progressive leaders. The role of Bernie and the squad should be oriented to helping create mass working class movements, not working behind closed doors with big business politicians like Nancy Pelosi. They are too busy working with party leaders to impeach Trump again to build mass movements to stop the far right. We need leaders that recognize that the problems that are brought on by Trumpism did not start with Donald Trump alone, and that capitalism is a failed system. Yes. We need a movement that places this at its core and is capable of fighting tooth and nail for the things that working people need to survive. Now, if I sound too critical of progressive leadership, I promise this is not some call-out. It's only to point out the simple truth. The left is headed for a dead end as long as our leaders believe that making deals behind closed doors is the key to social change. We need to come together immediately and lay the groundwork for a new party that explicitly orients towards working people and that takes an active role in class struggle when it occurs in the streets. The time has come to break with the Democrats. If this makes sense to you, I'd like to invite you to a socialist alternative meeting. It's our next public meeting, Saturday, February 20th. You can talk to us over here. Miles in the red or the orange mask. I know my colors. But you can talk to us about that. We can take down your number, get a hold of you. You can come to this meeting and learn about how Socialist Alternative member Shama Sawant ran as an independent and won 3 elections in a row in Seattle, even when Amazon personally dumped $1.5 million into her opponent's campaign to stop her. You can learn about how she has fought Democratic Party resistance to champion the Black Lives Matter movement, and how she is now a target of a right-wing recall campaign. Left-wing candidates can win without corporations or the Democratic machine, and when they do, our movements become more powerful than they ever could have been under the Democrats. Come to our meeting, find out how we did it in Seattle, and know that with enough people and enough energy, we can do the same thing in Milwaukee. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sophie, Socialist Alternative. All right, next we have Pam from Peace Action. Would you like to say a few words? Welcome, Pam.
First, I'd like to acknowledge that we are on Native American lands. This is land that the Potawatomi, the Menominee, Ho-Chunk, Anishinaabe, and many other bands that we've maybe even lost all the language and knowledge of, and it's very special. And just before I start talking about nuclear weapons, which I'll just do briefly, I'd like to inform you about Line 5. I don't know if you've heard about the struggle going on in northern Minnesota with Honor the Earth and the Native people up on the rice bed lands where Line 3 has been deteriorating, built back in the 1950s. It's bringing in bituminous oil through these pipelines, and they are tearing apart their lands, their native lands, to bring in these pipelines to bring millions of gallons when we need a Green New Deal.
Yeah. That's right.
So please support Honor the Earth. This movement is being led by the Native women. It's a really incredible movement. You can go to Stop Line 3 on Facebook if you want to learn more about it and how to support them. Well, I really came here to talk about nuclear weapons. But Native American people are treaty people. And we are treaty people, the people who are working to abolish nuclear weapons. And we're joining with 122 nations in the world who do not have nuclear weapons to abolish nuclear weapons. Yesterday, January 22nd, nuclear weapons became illegal in the whole world for all nations who are willing to abide by this treaty, which of course none of the nuclear-armed nations are. However, we are pushing for this with many other groups, hundreds of other groups throughout the world celebrated this event yesterday, and there are currently about 15,000 nuclear weapons in the world. Now, they're not all deployed. This new SALT treaty, the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty that was announced by the Biden administration, is limiting the nuclear weapons to supposedly about 1,500 each. However, they've been perfecting nuclear weapons, making them more lethal and more accurate and more dangerous. So we have a long way to go. They're spending over $1 trillion on making new nuclear weapons, and the nuclear weapons protest groups were worried about them resuming testing again from all these new nuclear weapons, and millions of people in the world died from testing. And it really fell a lot on the indigenous people of the world, from the Marshall Islands, from the Native American lands in the Southwest, Algeria, the Native people in Australia. They all suffered terribly from this. Not to mention the Hibakusha, who were affected by the bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So if you want to get involved, you can talk to me later or go to our website at Peace Action Wisconsin and join our movement. Thank you.
Hey, what's the name? Dan, what's the name of the treaty? The name of the treaty.
Right. It's the Treaty for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, and it was put together by the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons. You can look for it online, or look at the Nuclear Ban Treaty. Maybe that's easier to remember. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pam, and thank you, Peace Action, for showing up and giving your support for this event. We're getting down there. Is there anybody that would like to jump in and say a few words?
There's one more speaker on peace issues, if you can fit him in somewhere. He's from the United Nations Association.
Yeah, I'd like to speak momentarily about Yemen.
Step right up. What's your name, sir?
My name is Sam.
Okay.
World says no to war on Yemen.
Okay, here.
Sam Michael, you're not here, right?
I'm here.
Oh, okay, Sam, you had a couple words to say too.
Yeah, on Avril Haines, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me? Is this good?
A little more.
Okay, here. Good. Okay, so recently the Trump administration did an executive order that listed the Houthi rebels in Yemen as a terrorist group. This went into effect last Tuesday, January 19th. The reason why this matters is because the Houthi rebels control most of Yemen, and they're basically like the body where humanitarian aid goes to the people of Yemen. Because they're now listed as a terrorist group, the countries that give money and aid to the UN to be distributed to these Yemenis are now scared to because of the diplomatic impacts. And so they're giving less aid. And, okay, so there are like at least 13 million people in Yemen who are actively starving because of the Saudi Arabian war there. And without this aid, most of them are going to die by June. So it's absolutely not arguable. Biden needs to do something. It's as simple as going to one of his aides, asking to draft an executive order to repeal Trump's, and signing it. It takes like a minute. So that's all I'm asking for. I'm asking for the Biden administration to do this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Woo! Yes, we feel it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, what's happening in Yemen should be on more people's radar. Unfortunately, it's not.
And there's one more
Naivety is pretty strong. And I'm sorry, what's your name?
Sam Michael, I'm a member of Peace Action.
All right, another Peace Action. Sam, step right up.
Hi, my name is Sam Michael. I've been on a board of Peace Action Wisconsin for a few months. But what I'm here to talk about is Avril Haines. Recently, she was just nominated the Director of Intelligence, and she was confirmed by the Senate. I was going to go up here and tell you to all call your congressman, but Lord knows that doesn't really, it has limited impact. But now that she's been nominated and basically has control of our military, now is for me. Now is the time to definitely organize a boycott from the Democratic Party. She was on the board of Raytheon. She's a supporter of torture. Name almost any bad policy you can think of, and she's been in favor of it. She's organized Obama's wars in the Middle East. She's horrible on almost every single issue. So I just want you guys to be aware of this because Biden's cabinet has not been getting as much coverage as Trump's cabinet nearly got, and it's nearly almost just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted you guys to be aware of that. But yeah, her support of waterboarding needs to be announced, and this needs to get more attention. And I highly recommend that we spread this word and make sure that people know that the Democrats are not our friends. They've been working against us this whole time.
Damn right.
Yeah.
I don't really have much else to say other than that.
No worries.
Thank you. Yeah, you're firing on all cylinders there. I agree 100%. If there's nobody else,
Jeff,
look at this fellow, Jeff, OWR.
Yes, I'm from the state organization, so I want to thank the local chapter for doing a great job. And I want you to spend 1 minute on Medicare for all. Let's go farther than that. Let's do a single payer system. In this country, we pay nearly twice as much as any other country per capita, and still there are people without health care. If we were to do a single payer system, we would save billions and billions of dollars that could go to more important things. So that's one of the reasons economically that implementing a single payer system, Medicare for all, would save money.
That's right.
Republicans can even get behind that. So please speak out. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff from OWR. Yes, Medicare for all is my flagship issue. I'm sure it is for a lot of people. Next, Andre, you want to say a few words?
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm not doing the speech or nothing. I just wanted to thank everybody for coming here today. It's cold. This is Milwaukee. Y'all know how I get here. But I appreciate every group for being here. Socialist Alternative, Justice for Jacob Blake, Peace Action, Jim Carpenter's group. So like the fact that we're all here means that we're fighting for issues that we all care about. And the thing that really frustrates me is that sometimes we don't have enough cross appeal or we're not working together. But we have to understand all these issues cross. If they affect one of us, they affect all of us. Well, I think that's my time. No, I'm joking. But, yeah, I just want to thank everybody for being here. Everybody has their reason for fighting. I know for me, I've been affected by all those issues that we've talked about today. I didn't grow up with healthcare. My dad, he literally got his ass whooped by police when he was younger, so that affected me not directly but indirectly. I literally had $3,000 in medical bills for dislocating my finger. I mean, there was a time where we lived in a house where we weren't allowed to drink the water because it was, flagged with lead water, so it's an environmental issue. So us all fighting here and being together is very important. So, we're a small group, OWR Milwaukee, but we really care and we're passionate about these issues. So even if it's Socialist Alternative, Justice for Jacob Blake, Peace Action, join these meetings, join their organizations, join their protests because you're affecting lives and just expressing your voice is really going to help. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you guys for being here. Stay warm, and I'll let Mike close it out for you guys.
Thank you, Andre. A lot of people know Andre. He is a huge, big-time organizer in our state. He does a lot of great things. Big props to him. Next, we do have one more. Patrick from Milwaukee DSA. Milwaukee, correct? Right? Step up, Patrick.
Hi, y'all. Yeah, I said I'm Patrick with the Milwaukee DSA, and we have two candidates endorsed for the February 16th school board race in the 5th and 6th district, or 4th and 5th districts. So basically, you live north of 94 in the city. You're probably represented either by Alex Brower in the 5th or Dana Kelly in the 4th. So We are hoping y'all can help us knock doors and or just encourage everyone of your neighbors to vote.
Most definitely.
Thanks.
Awesome, thank you, Patrick. Next, we have one of my partners in crime in OWR and in Movement for a People's Party. I introduce Mr. William.
Thank you. I just wanted to reiterate a point that was made earlier. We've seen it with the Sanders campaign and Bernie Sanders messaging that the American attention span is not exactly famous for being very long-standing or, we like quick news bits, we like information short, simplistic, and we like it to be hammered repeatedly. Sanders did that at every rally he ever made, and I'm going to keep a similar vein going. As it was said before, Donald Trump is not the problem in this country. He was a symptom of the problem.
That's right.
However, when the cancer is removed, if it is still metastasized throughout the entire system, you still have work that needs to be done to remove that. The rot, the corruption, the greed, it has eaten at the very foundation of American society. And now is, the best time to be involved was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. You can't change your past, but you can use it, you can learn from it to impact your daily decisions today, in the present, and thus change the future for yourself, for your friends, for your family, and for your community. We need to be out here every day. We need to be making our voices heard both on the streets and on the web. Our strength as a working class is in our unity. The American economy is powered by the working class. We are the engine of economic growth, and we must use that power accordingly. The rich and wealthy ruling elite will not cede any power to us. We need to make sure they understand that we are the power. We are the people. We are the heart and soul of this nation. And if we are able to reclaim this nation, anything is possible. Thank you.
Woo! All right, thank you, William. You're awesome. Let me write this down here. Last call for anybody that would like to speak. I have one more taker. What's your name?
Barb from the Green Party.
I have Barb from the Green Party.
Welcome.
Hey, Barb.
Welcome. There you go.
I wasn't planning on doing this. I'm a little nervous, but I want everyone to know that the Green Party is still here. We're still working for the same things that you're working for. Our four main pillars are nonviolence, grassroots democracy, ecological wisdom, and social justice. They're all things that we care about. We're still working on them. We're supporting Alex Brower. We're running candidates, and we want you to join us. I'm the treasurer. If you want to give me money, I would be happy to take it. We meet the second Saturday of the month on Zoom, so please join us. Thanks.
Woo! Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Green Party, for your showing up today. That's a beautiful segue into what I want to close on. Is I just appreciate seeing all these different orgs getting together, even people not involved in organizations perhaps, but I touched on it before. That's what it's going to take to get anything concrete accomplished. Is we need some unity. We most of us, I would bet all my money that we agree on over 90% of issues.
Yeah.
And so, we can't let that less than 10% of disagreement or strategy on what we do agree on get in the way of accomplishing the goals that we all have in common. And so that's why we really need to start working together, stop fighting within our, I don't want to say leftist, but I guess I mean leftist.
Hey, I'm a leftist.
Views, thank you, yes.
Extreme leftist.
But so exactly, we need to stop fighting within our little different selves, because as I said, we do have differences, but amount of things we agree on is so much greater than that, and the fight we all care about is so much more important than that. To get petty about, again, strategy or what have you. If we all work together, we can get to these goals. I believe in it. I believe in all of you. I guess that's the big thing. Stay focused, stay active, stay plugged in, paying attention. Let's do one more chant. Yeah. Everybody okay with one more chant? Yeah. On this topic, what about the people united will never be defeated? Oh, yeah. Ready? Yep. Let's do it.
The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Woo!
Thank you.
We got a picture?
We got a picture? Right. Now, I just have a couple big shout outs, thank yous to people that made this happen. Andre from OWR, my lovely wife Tanya from OWR, they're a big part. Noel, this started from an idea, a conversation you and I had like back in November, right after the election. So thank you so much for all you've done for it. William, Chance, and Danielle, thank you for all of your support for everything. I know I'm forgetting more, but also Erica, thank you for jumping in and getting the connects. Sophie, all the great speakers. Other than that, anybody have one last chant we'd like to do?
Solidarity!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Solidarity!
On three. 1, 2, 3.
Solidarity!
Okay, thank you all for coming. Be safe, stay warm, and we'll see you in the streets.
You guys want to say anything on our topic about what you're doing here today? How are you guys, by the way?
Good. First of all, let me give you a hug.
Yeah, long time no see.
I miss you.
How are you?
Hi, good to see you. We'd still love to come on your show if you're still interested.
Here, take this and just tell us what brings lock. You guys are locked, right?
Yeah.
Who wants it?
So I just hold it?
Yep, just talking to it.
Okay. So Locke here is in Milwaukee once again. I think the last time we were here, we walked over 38 miles with Raw Topic. So thank you for being there. We're really happy to be here to fight for economic justice. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much of our mission having to do with what's going on in Kenosha that is so obviously applicable throughout the United States, but especially here in Milwaukee and throughout the southeastern Wisconsin region, which is why we marched through southeastern Wisconsin region. So we just wanted to, come here. I think what Mike was saying about like all these different organizations coming together, like you have different political parties, you have different nonpartisan organizations such as ourselves, but people who care about justice, people who care about economic justice, racial justice, and people who aren't like, woo, new administration, life is great now. People who are like, no, like normal is not good. Normal maybe in some cases is better than what the last 4 years has been, but normal is still white supremacy. Normal is still systemic racism. Normal is still people, dying when they shouldn't be and being impoverished. So we're here to bring people together and keep talking about how the justice that we need in our communities.
Do you feel like the new administration will be able to dismantle white supremacy?
I think they could if they wanted to. Yeah, you have an administration that is right now all controlled by the same party, so it's a lot easier for all this gridlock that we have seen over the course of many, many years. Right now there's a unique opportunity for the Democratic Party if they wanted to come together on those kind of issues. But like we heard today, there's money in politics. There's a lot of things standing in the way of that happening. So for us, I mean, I can speak for myself in saying my faith in the Democratic Party is not super strong.
And I will say that being a Democrat or supporting the Democrats does not mean that you're going to get all the help in the world and be saved. It doesn't. It's a lesser of two evils, and that's what we're going for right here. So that's why I also voted for Biden.
Yeah, like obviously, you know, we are a more progressive organization, and I not speaking on behalf of Locke, but speaking on behalf of myself, am preferring the situation we are in than what we have been in. But Democrats and Republicans have been in power before, and we've continued to see the same problems. But I do believe that we are, in a lot of cases, moving in a positive direction throughout history. And I think that as long as groups like this and groups like we've been with, marching all summer, all fall, all winter, demanding change, especially when we're paying attention not just to the federal government, but the local level, which is, you know, really what we're passionate about, that we the people, like the Democrats aren't going to do anything, the Republicans aren't going to do anything, like the people do things, and the, you know, power is not going to be given, it needs to be demanded.
Yep.
And so if we want the new administration or whoever's in power to make changes, we need to just keep being out here, keep supporting our community, making sure that people don't need to rely on the government to do things for them, but that we have a government that's not actively oppressing people. So that's what.
And one more thing, I was just gonna say that it's just I think a lot of black people, or me myself being black, I am worried that this is a new form of white supremacy, a more covert form of white supremacy, not openly racist. This is I'm worried of that, so that I hope it's not.
Wow. Okay, I appreciate you guys. Locke, leaders of Kenosha, thanks for taking that time to interview, and we will see you guys real soon at another event, right?
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Okay. Tag me, keep me informed.
I'm gonna text you because this thing is really cool. This piece.
Yeah, you got my car, right?
Your card?
My
But I got
you
your
got
message.
Oh, yeah. Hit me up there.
We got like one thing real quick by chance.
What's that?
There's something that we wanted to alert the Kenosha community about. There's a new grant going forward.
Okay.
It's going to allow
Automatic license plate readers.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
And it's to collect all your data. And
Yeah.
they sell it to other people.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So that's coming.
Okay.
We're trying to fight that. So if you want.
Is that an event? You guys going to do an event for that?
Yeah, we're doing a social media campaign, so you can see that on our pages, that we're asking people to call, email, older persons, members of the Common Council, to say that we do not want there to be cameras
Vote no.
You know, by the KPD tracing where everybody's going, using that to levy fines against them, to persecute them, to surveil them, and selling our data to private
Goes
companies.
to ICE, goes to Homeland Security.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So I have informational stuff that I can share with you,
Yeah.
and then maybe she could just say something real quick and let your viewers know.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. You go ahead, girl.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's.
Wait, are you gonna do it right now?
On February.
Well, yeah, does she want to?
Yeah, she
can
does.
take the mic.
The mic.
So is this Bluetooth, that piece?
It's
a Bluetooth.
not
mic.
Bluetooth,
Nice.
no, it's hardwired. This is wireless to the receiver.
Yeah. Yeah, we just wanted to take this opportunity to talk about kind of a big thing that's on our plate right now, is that Kenosha on February 4th, there's going to be a proposal going before the Common Council to approve of using a grant of $49,000 to install 2 new automatic license plate readers in Kenosha to monitor everybody's license plates, monitor who's going where and when, which is an extreme invasion of privacy. Use this information to levy huge fines on people for, if you're driving by this camera and you haven't had a chance to pay a fine for, whatever ticket you've had, they can see that. The police can start chasing you basically and levy higher fines for you having going by this camera. And on top of that, it's a private company that's collecting all this data, who will have power to sell our data, to make profits off of it, as Olivia said, to ICE, Homeland Security, private companies. And we've seen that these companies are extremely vulnerable to hacks. So foreign governments could hack in and have our information. Other companies can hack in. Our own government, right, will have a lot more information than I think is just for us, and it turns everybody in Kenosha into suspects, into criminal suspects, instead of innocent people who are driving their cars. So obviously we've been out here demanding that the Kenosha Police Department reform itself and demanding that the Kenosha Police Department implement changes to have better community relations, to stop police violence. And instead of using this $49,000 to implement programs like that, they're wanting to use it to buy these cameras that will invade our privacy, put us at risk, put us in danger, and make criminal suspects of us all. So that's one thing we just want to take a moment. That's a big thing on our plate. Please go to the Justice for Jacob page and the Leaders of Kenosha LOC page to see some graphics we posted and find the phone number and email of your alderperson to contact them and let them know this is not good for Kenosha and we need to make sure that this does not go through. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you for adding all of that. We appreciate the information.
Yeah, no problem.
And we will see you guys in Kenosha.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Have you met Olivia? This is Livy Love with Raw Topic.
Is your name Olivia? My name's Olivia. Oh, that's why I'm looking at you like that. I'm like, is he serious? Oh, it's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. You're so beautiful. Yeah. So what do you do with Raw Topic?
She's new. We want to get her doing some field work.
Yep.
And we want to get her doing some co-hosting on the show. Well, right now she's been on the back end, just helping share things out.
The social media manager.
She's been moderating the group and the page, and so she's got a lot of training to do.
It is helpful because I have one girl helping me, so she'll be at we'll be at different angles taking pictures, or when I can't post, she can post things like that. So.
Right, that's kind of what she's helping with right now.
That's awesome.
Say hi to some people real quick. Okay, nice to meet you.
All right, see you guys later.
Nice meeting you. See you guys at Kenosha.
See ya. Okay, you guys, that is it. This was the Democratic Party, kind of a demonstration, protest of sorts for economic relief, I guess you can say. But I appreciate you guys for joining us on YouTube and Facebook today. And remember, you guys, if you can't come real, then at least come raw. Raw Topic.